What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it looks like Call of Duty is coming back to Steam, at least in some capacity for PC players. And with this, I've been seeing a lot of different reactions, a lot of people just confused as to what this means and whether or not this is a good thing. Other people thinking this is going to be an absolute game changer and there's going to be so many amazing features that come out of this. So I decided to do some research on the topic, and I wanted to share with you guys what's likely to be happening and what's likely to come out of this to help clear up the situation for those that are confused, as well as hopefully temper some expectations from people that I feel have some unrealistic expectations from this. So starting this off, this all comes from a very simple Twitter post where the official Steam Twitter account quote tweeted the Modern Warfare 2 teaser from yesterday. And this is more or less confirmation that Modern Warfare 2 will be appearing on Steam, unlike the past, I believe, 3 years of Call of Duty. They've been off Steam and only available on Battle.net. However, it is worth noting here that Modern Warfare 2 will still be available on Battle.net as far as anybody's concerned at this point. They're advertising it on Battle.net, and of course, that's Activision Blizzard's launcher that they use for PC, so it looks like you're going to have the option to either buy it on Steam or buy it on Battle.net. And if I had to guess at this point, it's very likely that if you buy the game on Steam, it's still going to be launching through a Battle.net client when you launch it from Steam. Many other games do this from other publishers. I believe Battlefield 2042 does this, where you can buy the game on Steam, have it in your Steam library, but when you boot up the game, it technically opens an Origin launcher to launch the game. And that's what I would suspect is going to be the case for Modern Warfare 2 as well. As for the potential benefits of having the game available on either Steam or Battle.net, let's start going over that, because I've seen a lot of people say like, oh my god, this is so amazing, it's coming to Steam. And many people don't understand what the big deal is. Why is it so different to be buying the game on Steam compared to buying the game on Battle.net, especially if it is going to go through that process where it still launches through the Battle.net client when you own the game on Steam? Well, one of the more obvious general reasons behind this is the fact that Steam is just a more established platform, and therefore it's got a larger general user base, and within that user base, you've got a better likelihood of having an established friends list on your Steam account. So this will potentially increase the reach of the game on PC, even though it's not a huge barrier of entry to just download Battle.net. It's not like you have to pay anything to do that. But overall, this could increase the potential reach of the game, as well as just make it easier to connect with your Steam friends when playing the game. Now that's the general sort of benefit of having it available on Steam, just having a wider reach and providing more options to the consumer as well to purchase the game. However, Steam itself has a bunch of features that Battle.net simply doesn't have, and in many ways, it's just far more consumer friendly. On Steam, you have the ability to refund a game within 2 weeks of purchase as long as you have less than 2 hours of gameplay time with it. And oftentimes they'll make exceptions for this. If you have a little bit more than 2 hours of gameplay, but it's still within that 14 days of purchase, they will often still provide you with a refund for a game. Whereas Battle.net, at least for Call of Duty titles, from everything I've read and all of the research I've done, they've got a pretty hardline stance of just not refunding at all. Additionally, with Steam, they offer regional pricing, so they can adjust the cost of the game depending on what country you're in, and this can make a really big difference for people in certain countries around the world that have a very different cost of living compared to what many of us would be used to in North America and Europe, for instance. So that can really go a long way into making the game affordable for people that otherwise wouldn't be able to justify buying the game. Additionally, another big benefit with Steam that I'm actually looking forward to quite a bit as somebody that generally plays the game on console, even though my PC is perfectly capable of playing the game, this is Steam shows their player counts for their games. Now, to be very clear here, that doesn't mean we're going to be seeing the entire player count for all people playing Call of Duty, or even all people playing Call of Duty on PC. We will only be able to see the player count for those playing Modern Warfare 2 from Steam specifically. You won't be able to see the player count for the people that just bought it on Battle.net. However, these player counts can still give us a very good indication of the general trends of the player base within the game itself. So if you see a big dip in player counts on the Steam charts for the game, you can usually extrapolate that to the other platforms as well and make the assumption that the overall player count in the game has likely dropped as well, even though you can't see that player count. And this would be the first time in a while that we'd be able to track those general trends in the player base, since over the past 3 years at least, all of that has been completely hidden because Battle.net doesn't show their player counts, and they no longer release their player counts for console either. And then finally, when it comes to just basic features that Steam has that you don't really see on Battle.net, Steam has user reviews, which some people use those user reviews, other people don't. I know for many people, they'd much rather go to YouTube, for instance, and look up reviews on the game that are a little more comprehensive and can actually show off examples of things that people are talking about. But at the end of the day, there's still plenty of people out there that do rely on those Steam reviews, and that's yet another benefit of having the game available on Steam. So that's just a handful of reasons for why many people prefer the Steam platform over Battle.net. Also, there are many things on the technical side where people will prefer Steam over Battle.net, where they just tend to run into a lot more technical difficulties with Battle.net. But now I want to talk about a couple things that I feel like people are jumping to conclusions with a little bit too quickly and maybe setting their expectations too high for having Modern Warfare 2 sold on Steam. And the number one thing here that I see a lot of people immediately jumping on is mod tool support. For some people, for whatever reason, the fact that this game is going to be sold on Steam makes them think that we're going to be getting mod tool support for the game, so people can create custom experiences for the game on Steam. And this is something we've had access to with some Call of Duty games in the past, but definitely not all of them. And this is an area where I wouldn't hold your breath for Modern Warfare 2. Just because they're selling it on Steam, that does not mean for sure that we're going to get mod tools for the game. And as much as I'd love to see that happen, it just doesn't really seem likely to me at this point. And at the very least, I wouldn't set that as an expectation for this game being on Steam. If they surprise the community and do provide mod tools, that would be amazing, but I would say don't get your hopes up for this. But finally, one other topic I wanted to discuss here when we're talking about Steam versus Battle.net. This is anti-cheat support, and at this point, there's more questions than answers. I believe we aren't going to be seeing Valve's anti-cheat work on Steam, and instead, it's just going to be relying on Ricochet, which is Call of Duty's anti-cheat. But I guess with the game being on Steam, I believe it's still possible that they could use Valve's anti-cheat on top of Ricochet. But that's unfortunately something I just haven't been able to find answers on online, so I think we'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that. Overall, though, that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. I just wanted to clear some things up, show you guys the potential benefits and what this means having Modern Warfare 2 on Steam this year. And of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below. For those of you guys that do play on PC, are you happy to see that the game is going to be available on Steam as well as Battle.net? And do you see yourself purchasing the game on Steam now, or do you think you'll be sticking to the Battle.net launcher? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.